There are so many games that have aged terribly, and some that have aged like a fine wine. And I wanted to go back to my favorite Sonic game to see if it's still worth playing, or if I should have never have done this video to begin with. So, I'm a PS2 girly, and I was that child that used the console until they stopped making games from the console. So I had to upgrade. And the upgrade was a Wii, which was even worse, because all my friends had PS3s and Xboxes, and they'd always go, let's go play Call of Duty, and I would play Call of Duty on the Wii, and there was no crossplay back then, so I'd get into a group of random 20 people, the same 20 people who would play Wii Call of Duty online, and I'll be honest, I was amazing. It'd take 20 minutes to get into a game, and you'd be lucky if you could finish a whole game without it disconnecting. But let me get back to Sonic. So, I had the PS2 version of Sonic Unleashed, which I hear was not the most popular version of the game. And as I've done my playthrough, I've realized that it's a completely different game, and most of the levels have been remade for the PS2, so that it could handle it, because obviously the next generation they had better levels, so the PS2 had to lower the standards a bit down. I was seeing on this video idea at the start of the year, and I'm so glad I waited, because those dedicated Sonic fans have remade the Xbox 360 version for PC. The Xbox 360 version would usually suffer from performance issues and some graphical bits, but the fans have made it work. So if you would like to also have a go at the game, it's called Sonic Unleashed Recompiled, and I've left a link in the description. Now, I know I should play the PS2 version, because that's the game I played like 17 years ago. But I wanted to be kind to myself. I wanted to be nice to myself. This is the easiest way to play the game, because I don't have a copy of the 360 version, and the Xbox 360 has closed its shop, so I can't even get a digital version of the game. Also, I have never completed the game. I remember Lil Me getting to Eggman Land, and it was one of the speed levels. I think I had to finish it under 2 minutes, and I just couldn't do it. It was super hard for me. So hopefully, adult me, now that I'm a true gamer, can complete the game. So what I can remember, which was 17 years ago, was the speed sections were fun. It felt super fast using the boost. I remember the drifting being really cool, and I remember not being too bothered by the Hedgehog stages. I think I kind of enjoyed them, and I know a lot of people don't like them, but you have to remember, I was conditioned to like them. All the other games at the time I played were edgy, and all you have to do is look at the other games that came out around a similar time, and they were all following the same trend, and I guess it worked on me. Just look at The Legend of Spyro, Shadow with a gun, Jak and Daxter 3 with a gun, Ratchet and Clank. I know they have guns, but as the time went on, it got edgier. But this is all going off memory, so let's see if the edginess still has that same effect on me. Let's start off with the animation. So because the game came out after Sonic 06, they really had to do something because that game was real bad. So as soon as you start the game, you get an amazing cutscene with amazing animation. They put a lot of effort and probably all the budget on that. We can see that no expense is spared on this, and I would love for there to be a TV show that has this same animation style. Basically Sonic anime. Why can't they make Sonic anime? The Shadow Generations promo stuff with Maria and the fighting with Rouge. Oh my god, that as a TV show would be amazing. If they just redid Sonic X and just did anime kind of style with like people blowing up and... But let's go back to the game. After we get that amazing cutscene, we get the gaming cutscene, which goes into the game, and you can see that, oh, I thought the game was going to be all that amazing animation, but it's not. It goes back to the in-game. It's not too bad. It still looks good. I mean, how HD Sonic can you get? He's blue, you can add some quill things. He could stand up against most of the modern Sonics, if I'm honest.
Meow?
The Hedgehog fur doesn't look amazing, but it still looks pretty good back then. On the PS2, I don't think I even had fur on him, but on the Xbox version, this version that I'm playing now, we can see some strands and stuff, and I'm sure if he had more hair, it would probably crash. We also have idle animations, which are probably one of my favorite animations in games. Sometimes I leave the game for a little while just to see if it has it. If it doesn't have any idle animation, I know that there was no love put into the game. But Day and Night Sonic both have different animations. They both go into like a sleeping thing if you leave it for too long. Day Sonic will kind of nod off but wake up, and then Night Sonic will fully fall asleep. And I love they have different animations for that. Also for the Werehog, we see the stretchiness of his arms, which is very cartoony in a way. Yeah, he stretches, that's his like main power, but I love that when he jumps you can see that, or when he runs you can see his arms extending and stuff like that. The little details like that really add to the game. The story, there's nothing special about the story, but I kind of like that. It doesn't need to be complicated like 06. It just has to have a simple thing, and that's what this is. So the story is, Eggman blows up the Earth instead of the moon, which releases Dark Gaia, and Dark Gaia, I believe, goes into Sonic, which makes him the Werehog, and then we just need to place the Chaos Emeralds in each Gaia temple to close the Earth back up. And our companion, Chip, who's a great guy, he doesn't know who he is.
What is my name? I don't know. I can't remember.
But spoiler alert, at the end, he's good Gaia, he's light Gaia, and evil Gaia is called Dark Gaia. And he then realizes, oh, my job is to save the world, and Chip is only a little guy. So being Sonic, you know, we're like, oh, we're gonna help the little guy. So we help the little guy to save the world. There's nothing big about the story, but I like that. If it's concentrated in gameplay, which it is, that's all I need for a game. There aren't many cutscenes, I'll be honest, so there's not much story, and they're all kind of similar cutscenes. We don't really get much dialogue between the two, but we know that Chip likes food, and he's nice. He's not too annoying, and he's just nice to be around. There's not much going on. But I have noticed that in this version of the game, coming from the PS2 version, there are more cutscenes. So I've never seen the Amy cutscene where Amy sees you as Werehog, and she's like, who the hell is this? And Sonic gets embarrassed, so he runs away. I've never seen that. Or the fact that there's a whole game, a whole mini game in this game where Chip takes a picture and he reveals that the town people are being possessed by Dark Gaia monster things. And it's like, oh wow, that's new story, I didn't even know. We also see that Eggman gets real evil in this, and he doesn't blow up the moon like he normally does, but he blows up Earth.
I'm pissing on the moon!
And he gets really desperate right at the end of the thing, wanting to actually really kill Sonic, and it's really weird seeing him get that angry and that desperate to wanting to kill him. So it's like you really see Eggman being evil, but also he has a really good sandwich. I have noticed that there are more cutscenes compared to the PS2 version, which obviously gives me more of a better story, so on the front of that, it's already a better story. And the one thing that I think we can all agree on is that we do not like Professor Pickles. So Professor Pickles is this guy who we have to rescue because apparently he knows everything. We rescue him and we have to literally go back to this man every single mission just to get our next mission, even though we kind of know what our next mission is. So we could save a country. And obviously, after we save a country, we go to the Gaia Temple to put in a Chaos Emerald. But no. Once we save the city, we have to go back to Professor Pickles for him to go, oh, you can go to the Gaia Temple to put in the Chaos Emerald. And then you go back and you do that. And then you go back to him and he'll tell you the next one, even though it shows what you're meant to do next. Maybe that's the way to bloat the game out, and they were just like, let's just do this. We hate him. We hate Professor Pickles. Now the music. I don't have to tell you, but the Sonic Unleashed OST is probably... it's the best music I think that's come out of a Sonic game. Frontiers, I do love Frontiers music. I love the boss battle music. I think that has the best boss battle music. However, I think Unleashed just has the best music overall out of every other Sonic game. It's so good that when I need to lock in at work and get loads of stuff done, I just put the Sonic Unleashed playlist on, and I probably listen to the playlist maybe twice a week. And if you have been watching some of my videos, you would have noticed that I use the music in nearly all of my videos because it's so good. Another thing about the music is that when you go to different countries and different stages, hub worlds and stuff like that, you will have two different musics. So when you enter, I don't know the actual country names in the game, but let's just say when you enter America, you get the daytime version of the song, and then you get the nighttime version of the song, which just, it works amazingly, and it works with the different countries. So if you didn't know, Sonic Unleashed has different countries, but it's basically different countries. They're not called like America or Greece or this, but you can tell what they are. And they have theme songs depending on what country you're in, and then they have plus the day and the night version of the song. I love the music. It's great music. If you haven't listened to the music, you should go watch it. I'm probably using the music right now as a backing track. Okay, let's talk about the actual gameplay, and I'm gonna split it up into day and night. So the day gameplay is the best 3D Sonic game. I said it. I've played a lot of 3D Sonic games. I've probably played the worst 3D Sonic games, but out of all the Sonic 3D games I've played, this one is the best. Maybe I need to play more. I don't think I do. I think they're all pretty bad, but I think this one is the best out of the bunch. The speed you get in this game is unreal. And I know that Frontiers does feel a lot faster now, but this was the game that started off the boosting. This game is what made Sonic fast. And then you combined it with drifting, like it's a car game, and the drifting feels amazing. My favorite part of the daytime things is the drifting, because if you hold the boost button and the drift button, you can get such a good drift. And in the African country, there's like dirt and mud on the sides, so you know if you're gonna do bad. If you go into the dirt, you slow down immensely, and you have to get out of it to speed back up again. So when you get a drift and you don't hit the dirt, oh my god, it feels like a driving game. It feels so good to run in the game. The only bit I don't like is when you have to slow down. But I know that if you lock into a level and you play the level for a few hours, oh my god, you'll be like a speedrunner. Being personally, how I play Sonic games is I only play them like 2 or 3 times. If I really like the level, I'll play it a lot. But after that, I only do like 2 run-throughs. And I like to see where I'm going. And in those 2D sections, they could move the camera a little bit so you know that you're not running into spikes. But apart from that, it's got the best levels for speeding if you want to play those. Now we move on to the nighttime gameplay. Now, this one is a little bit more rough, because I know a lot of people don't like it. And I kind of liked it as a kid, if I remember rightly, but I don't remember most of these things. This version of the game is completely different from the PS2 version, which I played. So I don't remember having quick time event combats just in normal fighting. That wasn't a thing in my version of the game, which is kind of like a finisher move, or it takes up a lot of health if you go up to an enemy. The combat, however, is a lot better. I believe in the PS2 version, you only had a few moves, but in this, there are so many moves in this. I love combos, and I love when you can perform a combo and it looks really cool. Top tip for anyone who's playing this for the first time, put all of your level ups into combat and strength. Do that. Please do that. Don't bother leveling up Sonic. Level up the Hedgehog. There was a difficulty spike in the American level, and I had to go back and grind to get my better combat and better strength. There was this one enemy that when you got hit, it would knock you back, and as you were laying on the ground, it would send out a shockwave, and that kept on throwing me off the building, and I got actually really angry with that. And I was doing barely any damage to it, even in my Unleashed mode. So I had to go back and grind and get on a better level for my strength and combat. And I'm gonna let you into a little secret, a little trick that I found. So I discovered when I went into one of the DLC levels, if you go in here, you can get a lot of experience. I believe you get like 28 experience, which is a lot of experience. And if you're struggling on anything, and if you're actually playing it going, oh, this is too hard, I can't get to a good level, I would suggest going to do what I did there. I just ran through the level. Oh, you can't exit the level because it doesn't save your XP, so you have to run through the whole level. I did this like 3 or 4 times so I could level up to beat this boss in the USA level. But I don't remember this as being as challenging as it is, but I think this game is slightly more challenging than the PS2 version. The levels feel a lot bigger, and I hate that you have to fight the enemies and then move on to the next area. Then it blocks off, then more enemies spawn, and then you defeat those, and then you go off to the next area, and then that gets blocked. I hate games like that. There are so many games at around the same time that it does that. I think that is a terrible game design. It's just bad gaming. I hate that so much. You do gain experience, but it's not worth it. The Hedgehog levels also involve a lot of platforming, and I am a connoisseur when it comes to platforming. You should go look at my platforming video that I released like last month. It's pretty good. So, as a platforming person, I can tell you that this game is not a good platforming game. Sonic is a platformer, it is, but the Hedgehog levels are not great platforming levels. Number one, the one main rule of a good platformer is that there should be a shadow. If you're jumping, you should be able to see your shadow because you need to know where you're landing. I overshot or undershot so many times while platforming. But apart from the no shadow, I have to say that the climbing and the grabbing and the ledging and the all the other platforming stuff is pretty good. Movement feels good. Grabbing ledges feels okay. Swinging and stuff, that feels all good. The double jump is pretty nice. You can time it to get quite a distance. But it feels good. And if it feels good in movement, it's good platforming. But overall, it's okay. I would have loved the game to be on daytime stages, but I imagine they didn't have that much ideas for good daytime stages, so they had to fill it with something else because they couldn't think of so many good daytime stages. But the nighttime stages are okay. They are a bit too long. It is a lot of platforming in some sections. It is a lot of fighting. It seems to be too much of those things. You can either have a lot of platforming or a lot of fighting. And sometimes you get some levels which combine the two, and it's like, okay, I don't mind a bit of platforming and a bit of fighting. But in some levels, it's just one or the other. And I think that's terrible game design. Menuing. I know this one's a bit of an odd category, but I would like to say that the PS2 didn't have hub worlds. I just had a JPEG, and I had to click on things. And that was it for me. But this game has hub areas, and people in those hub areas, and people you can talk to. You have a hot dog man who gives you challenges for hot dogs. Did you know my favorite food is a hot dog? I love hot dogs. So I did some of those challenges. You also get the camera, which I spoke about in the story part, where Chip can take pictures of people. We take pictures of people to see if they've got dark Gaia in them, and if they do, then we go into a fighting section. In the hub world, we get to fight in the hub world. But I love going around these different locations and seeing the different cultures. You can go to the shop. Every country has a shop, and you can see their local foods, I guess. And then also the music. The music ties in well with the world you're in and the hub world. And also there are secret things. You have the sun and moon medals. I completely forgot to tell you about collecting those. You need the sun and moon medals to progress the game. If you don't get enough, you can't go into the next level of the game. So you're always on the lookout for these medallions, and you can find them in the hub worlds. Having the hub worlds also really adds to the story because, you know, you get to see the people you're saving. In the PS2 version, you kind of think of Earth as just an empty planet. But in this version, you get to, talk to the people, and it creates, oh, I'm actually saving people. And these people do react to things. When the world explodes, everyone is scared. And when you restore things, they get happy because they're like, oh, my world isn't dying. They also react to you. So when you change into Sonic, they're like, oh, hello, how are you? And then when you change into Dark Sonic, they're like, what the hell? They change, and I really like that they made that. And also you can do like little errands for them as well, but I didn't bother with that because I don't care about them that much. So in this version, you can spin the sun and moon, changing the areas from day to night. And I just think that's a really cool thing to add. I think I just had a button which changed it. I couldn't change the sun and moon. Also, Tails' flying section is a new one for me. This is just basically quick time event. Nothing special. I think it could do without it, but I mean, it's okay. I guess it's a way to introduce Tails, but it could do without. So the graphics of the game, because this game is a recompilation, I think is the word, I don't know. They added a lot of graphical upgrades. So the FPS is good, so obviously FPS is good for when you go fast, which is great. You don't get any stuttering or anything like that. The colors look amazing. Great colors. Great use of colors in the different countries as well. The food looks amazing. I don't know why the food looks so good. It just does. I mean, we start off with the ice cream. And then we get blown away by Eggman sandwich. And it's just like I think everyone who plays the game notices the sandwich because of just how good it looks. It looks 8K compared to this HD game. And I don't know why they made the sandwich look so good. I'm also going to throw art style into this category. In the Hedgehog stages and the nighttime stages, all the enemies have like neon trims. So you can see them a mile away, which is always nice to see where your bosses are. But they're all color-coded. We have these plants that are neon pink. I like that the enemies all have the same style. And then also we have the art style of all the countries, which really match with the actual countries themselves. Now, did I actually finish the game? I did. I finished the game. The last level was actually easy, and I was kind of shocked that I completed it and I did it. And then I went back to look at the PS2 version, and I saw that the PS2 version is actually split into 6 different levels. And those levels are hard because they're time attacks. So you do the first one as daytime Sonic, and it's just a normal run through. Then you do the exact same level, but you've only got 2 minutes. And that was the level that I got stuck on because I'm a baby gamer. And 2 minutes is a very short time to finish a level. So I'm happy that this version of the game is much easier and I wasn't going to get angry at it. The last level is actually really nice and I like the way it's done. So it's done by, you start off as Day Sonic and you run through Eggman Land. But then you get to a point where you change into nighttime and it's all in the one level where you swap. So you get to beat up things and then go fast, and then beat up and then go fast, and then beat up and then go fast. And I really like that. It did take me like 20 minutes, but I enjoyed the level because it was the last level. And it was much easier than the PS2 version. This then leads me on to the boss fights. Now, the daytime fights were all generically kind of the same. You just have to run fast and jump over missiles and then just do a homing attack. They're all basically the same. And then you have the nighttime bosses, which I actually like the nighttime bosses. The nighttime bosses were better than the daytime bosses. You had to think about the fight, and they were different. So in one with the Phoenix, you had to throw water at it and then beat it up and then do a quick time event. But in another one, you had to move blocks into an area and that made the enemy weaker. And I like the differences in bosses for that. So I would say that the nighttime bosses are better than the daytime bosses. Now the final boss actually lasted ages. So Chip turns into a big rock man And Big Rock Man is super slow, and you have to fly to Dark Gaia. It's a very long flight, and you're very, very slow. And I didn't enjoy it, because it just took so long. And Sonic is a fast game. Sonic is gotta go fast. That's his slogan. In this final boss, you go slow. So I didn't enjoy that first phase of the boss. Obviously, you go supersonic. The supersonic bit, I didn't enjoy it. It was okay. It was cool. I mean, you just have to destroy the worms. But I don't know. It wasn't Frontiers level. Frontiers level of boss fighting. I think Frontiers have the best boss fights because of just the music, and it's just like you have no idea what's going on, but you're going fast. But I don't think anything can beat that. But the boss fight in this was okay. It wasn't nothing special. So Sonic Unleashed Recompiled also has DLC, and I never got to play the DLC. So after I finished the game, I decided to have a little go at the DLC just to see what I'm missing out and see if there are any extra day levels or nighttime levels that were actually really good. If you love challenging Sonic games, you should definitely get the DLC. For me, it wasn't much for me. It's just the same kind of levels, but doing it fast or not dying, and extra spikes, quicker times to do quick time events. It's not for me, but if you like a challenge, DLC's for you. I personally don't care about the DLC. So, what you guys have been waiting for, the conclusion. Is the game still worth playing after 17 years? Yes, it's worth playing. This game has stood the test of time. The game still looks good. It's got that stylized art, and Sonic is a very simple model to get right. And they've got that. It still graphically looks good. The gameplay itself, the daytime stages alone, are one of the best speed sections in any Sonic game, even modern to this day. I would say it's worth playing. I think maybe play 1 or 2 night stages. If you hate them, then I would say no, don't play it. However, if you could get a save file of 100% and you could go into that, definitely do that, so then you can play all the daytime stages. All the daytime stages are worth it. And I would say that it would be worth playing the Hedgehog at full level, because when you start off, he only has a few combo moves. But when you get all of his combo moves, and you get the strength and the shielding and everything else with it, he's so much fun to play with, especially if you like combos and fighting games. When you start off, he's bad. He's bad. It's terrible. But when you level him up, you get so many cool moves, and it's cool to chain things together. If you are playing it, please level him up. Do not bother leveling Sonic up. All you have to do is level the Hedgehog up. Spend all your points on him, because then you get the strength and the combos. But I would say that this game is worth playing, and especially this PC port, because the game is now easier to play more than ever. So you may as well play it. It looks great. It's got a basic story, but that's all you need for a Sonic game. It's a good game. I'm glad I played it. I'm happy I played it, and I'm happy that I finished it. And this is definitely the better version of the game. PS2 version is PS2 version is bad. I've looked back at gameplay footage of it just for this video, and I've realized that it is a completely different game. The levels have all been redone. But definitely replay this version of the game. It's great. If you liked this video, let me know. It's very different. I decided to do this with basically no script. I've just got bullet points. But I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe, or I'll kick your head in.